Hello, everybody. Welcome into the show. This is the Farzy Show presented by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. And yes, it's absolutely wonderful, fantastic, amazing to have you along for the ride, especially after the day that was yesterday. The best part of Aaron Nola's start, obviously, was the NFL schedule being released. Phillies had a great opportunity there, especially winning game one of the doubleheader. Jesus Luzardo, 7 innings, 1 run. I mean, there you go. And then the Phillies are up 5-1 after the first inning against the St. Louis Cardinals yesterday, looking like they are on track to win their 6th straight series. And then they blow it. Aaron Nola blew it. Rob Thompson also blew it. Now, I made the distinction yesterday during the postcast that I in no way, shape, or form am blaming Rob Thompson for Aaron Nola's horrendousness, but I am in some ways blaming Rob Thompson for the Phillies losing the game yesterday. Well, was it mostly Aaron Nola's fault? Oh, absolutely, it was mostly Aaron Nola's fault. However, there was a lot of bleeding. All right, metaphorically speaking, to go with the Phillies yesterday. A lot of bleeding. Rob Thompson was standing there, I felt, with the gauze bandage, a first aid kit, and he just was staring at it like, I wonder what these scissors do. I wonder what these tweezers do. They like what? Get out there and take out that dude. We'll let you hear from Rob Thompson after the game. We'll let you hear from Aaron Nola, who, to his credit, was accountable at least. That it wasn't like, yeah, I don't know what happened. I thought I was really good tonight. No, it was nothing like that. So we'll get into that conversation. We'll also get into the NFL schedule, as that is the big chunk of news from yesterday. I took this away from the NFL schedule release. We'll go through the whole thing. Oh, baby, wins and losses. No, we won't do that. But we'll go through the whole thing. When it came to the Philadelphia Eagles schedule getting released yesterday, I took a glance at it, and I went, thank God the Phillies, geez, right. Thank God the Eagles are a great football team. I'll say this, if for whatever reason the Eagles struggle, this schedule is unforgiving. I will say that. I'm not gonna bitch about it. I'm not gonna complain about it. I will point out that it is a very tough schedule. The reason I'm not going to do any of those other two things that I mentioned is because then it just sounds like you're stacking up excuses for the Philadelphia Eagles, and I ain't going to do that. They're too good a football team for me to look at the schedule and go, well, they're going to be terrible because of the schedule. Who am I, Doc Rivers? What am I going to do, say that they got scheduled losses here? I ain't doing that. That's some weak sauce, man. We will go through the schedule, though. But yes, thank goodness the Philadelphia Eagles are a damn good football team. Philadelphia Flyers made a head coaching hire yesterday, and it was somebody that absolutely crossed my mind when Keith Elaine Jones took over as the Flyers president, and it is something that I thought had a good chance of happening. I do not fall into the same school as many other people saying, oh, another retread, another former Flyer, bring in new blood, blah, blah. I don't care about the new blood anymore. There's been enough new blood. I don't care. Dave Haxtell, was he great? No, he was pretty bad. No one even heard of him. I was in the room, actually, when two very foremost authorities on hockey in Philadelphia, when Dave Haxtell got hired, and they both looked at each other like, who the hell's that? Who? So, yeah, they went kind of outside the box. And then, Alain Vigneault, he was here. Second round of the playoffs. That fizzled out rather quick. John Tortorella, obviously not a Flyer. That fizzled out. So I don't mind at all going back to a bench boss that has Flyer in his blood and Rick Tocchet. The fact that, true story, he is one of my all-time favorite Flyers has nothing to do with the fact that I'm happy that he's back or optimistic that he's back. I think he's one of our all-time favorite Flyers. Penalty minutes, goals, assists, he kind of did it all. But to me, it's just about the Flyers, making the Flyers a better hockey team. And I believe Rick Tocchet is the perfect mix of a coach that when he needs to be a hard ass, he can be the hard ass. When he needs to be the softer voice in the locker room, in the dressing room, he can be that guy. And one of the things, there's one key component here that I think Rick Tocchet's going to have the benefit of that he couldn't have anywhere else. And this is a guy that's already been a coach of the year. This is already a guy that's got a 50-goal season under his belt. One thing that he could get here in Philadelphia that he has walking into it, more so than he had anywhere else. And we'll talk about that as the show goes on. But yeah, chalk me up as somebody who loves this hire. Absolutely loves this hire. And I ain't afraid to say it. I'm not going to apologize. Retread. I don't care. Yeah, I've seen the guys that are the non-treaded, and I'm unimpressed. Okay? So I'm happy Rick Tockett's here. But let's start it off with your Philadelphia Eagles because I can't talk Phillies out of the gate here. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Plan your vacations accordingly. Since I started doing pre- and post-game shows with Seth Joyner and Derek Gunn, I never would do this. I would never plan my vacation around the bye week, but now I do. But here's the way it works for your Philadelphia Eagles. Get ready. Preseason kicks off August 7th, goes to August 22nd. They play 2 home games during the preseason, and then they play at the Jets. They host the Bengals, host the Browns. We just love Ohio. And then they're at the New York Jets. All right, that's the way the preseason goes. Then, on September 4th, as we knew going into yesterday, Dallas Cowboys are hosted on the Thursday night NFL kickoff on NBC/Peacock at 8:20. I'm not going to go through every game. You see it right there in front of you. For the people on the podcast, I have the schedule up, but I'm sure you've seen it by now. Here's a couple of things that jump out to me about this schedule that I will acknowledge sucks. The Eagles are the only team. The Eagles are the only team in at least the NFC East that do not play back-to-back home games. That's insane. The only thing I like about this schedule is the fact that the bye week is right smack dab in the middle of the season. Now, last year you had it in week 5. You were 2-2 is the story, we well know by now. But this in the middle of the season is perfect. Gives players, I guess, something to look forward to if they need it. It gives you a break right in the middle of things. You don't have to play, 13 games, 14 games in a row without a bye. So that's good. But no back-to-back home, more back-to-back road games than anything. The Cowboys got back-to-back home games. The Commanders, the Giants. I think the Commanders they're playing the vast majority of their games in December at home. Whereas the Philadelphia Eagles are in Washington on December 20th. And then they're at Buffalo on December 28th. And then they host Washington to round out the season on, as always, the final week of the season, I should say. The final week of the season is always TBD. But look, we knew that they're going to play at Kansas City. That's terrible. I mean, they won. They should get a little home field advantage at some point against them. The Rams, this is a tough schedule other than the Cowboys. Tough schedule to start things out. I'm glad they got the Rams at home. They got the Broncos at home. They go to Minnesota to play in a dome, even though it wouldn't be ice cold temperatures in October in Minnesota. At Lambeau, we knew that going into yesterday on the 10th, coming out of the bye week. I love that going into Lambeau. I always want to see them play at Lambeau. Lambeau's an amazing field. It's just beautiful. That's the Monday night game. They got back-to-back primetime games there with Detroit. They do host the Lions there. That game's going to be another Sunday night kickoff. They don't play on Thanksgiving, thank goodness. They play on that Friday, as we knew going into yesterday, Black Friday. The Chargers game at L.A., after a nice long layoff there, after that Friday game, that is optimal. That is one thing I will put down as a positive. Vegas Raiders are chalk up the W already. Then the back-to-back road games with Washington and Buffalo. The Buffalo game, I know, is going to be a marquee game for the nation. That is a Fox National game. The game of the week, if you will. The Eagles have three of those, on the docket this season. Kansas City is one of them. Then they got the game against the Cowboys, another nationally televised game. Whoa, what did I tell you going into this? That the Cowboys and the Eagles are going to be quite a draw, and maybe even the Thursday night opener is going to be the highest-rated game of the season? Well, another national game, Eagles-Cowboys. Comes up there on the 23rd of November. But the Eagles don't play on Thanksgiving. That's good. The Eagles don't play on Christmas Eve. That's good. The Eagles don't play on Christmas. That's also good. And as I mentioned earlier, the bye week in the middle of the season. But this is a hell of a run to wind down on the season. The Commanders are going to be good this year. I don't think anyone needs to be told that, but just in case, let me get that out of the way. Let me get the obvious out of the way for the people that need it. Washington, at Buffalo, at Washington, at Buffalo, and then Washington again. That's a hell of a run. That is a hell of a run. After you play the Lions, though, I feel like the Eagles, again, with them being a great football team, and I expect them to be great again in the upcoming season. Do the Cowboys scare you? Do the Bears scare you? Do the Chargers really scare you? Do the Raiders scare you? Commanders, Bills, Commanders, that's a tough final 3 games of the regular season. So I look at this, and honestly, I go, well, thank goodness the Eagles right now, I know, have a supercharged offense. I have reason to believe that the Eagles defense, as I think most of us do, the Eagles defense is still going to be on point despite the losses they took throughout the offseason. But I look at the schedule and I say, thank goodness the Eagles are a great football team because this is a tough-ass schedule. Like, what was the NFL thinking? I thought, maybe you get maybe you get the Super Bowl defending Super Bowl champions. I don't know. Some love, some respect. No. They just get challenged even more. That's what we get out of that. Hey, bring it. Bring it. No excuses. Nobody's going to care about a tough schedule. They're going to care about whether or not you're beating these teams. It certainly seems to me, with the exception of the final 3 games of the season, that the pre-bye week run, even though that does not include the Lions, is a pretty tough run. I'll put it this way. I don't see a 10-game winning streak on the Eagles' schedule, unfortunately. I didn't see one going into last year either, but I wasn't looking at a defending Super Bowl champion. But this year, it's really hard to go, oh, yeah, 10-game winning streak right there for the Eagles. No problem. The tush-push, as we've been talking about a lot throughout the offseason, still, many believe it still will be banned. I look forward to the Eagles not needing it against Green Bay Packers at Lambeau for that matchup. But I look at this Eagles team as still very much a dominant offense. As I've been telling you guys throughout over the last 2 weeks here since the NFL draft, I still look at this team in a very similar light that I looked at them midway through last year, where it just looked like everything was falling into place for them. And the crazy thing is, look, there have been great offenses before. There have been great football teams before. And then they just can't get through a regular season for whatever reason. Everything starts to go wrong. I mean, look at the year the Eagles had after they went to the Super Bowl and lost to the Chiefs. I mean, let's just say that James Bradbury doesn't get called for that holding call. Let's say that Jalen Hurts doesn't fumble that ball away and just give the Chiefs 7 points, spot him 7 points. Went on to play great the rest of the way, but can't spot Patrick Mahomes 7 points. Let's say all that doesn't happen and the Eagles win that Super Bowl. Do they still fall apart the following year? Yeah, probably. They're a damn good football team that year. Not such a great football team the following year. Even though they got out to another 10-1 start and it looked incredible, they never looked like a team that they looked like last year, which was dominant, which was controlling games, which is, in case of emergency, give the ball to Saquon Barkley. Well, there he goes, 63-yard touchdown run. Those automatic things weren't there. Going into this year, seeing how they could just activate Saquon, go gadget Saquon, and he could just rattle off a touchdown for you. Or even if you needed a tush push at the goal line, it was automatic. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith being on the same page with Jalen Hurts more and more as the season went on. That's something that not a lot of people were banking on. Having Dallas Goedert back obviously is great. But as I've been saying throughout the offseason and been saying since the draft, the question marks are on the defensive side of the football. But you can have confidence in that because of who's evaluating the talent and the scheme they're being placed in. And the guy that's helping draw some of this talent is a guy that's doing it with his own scheme in mind at Vic Fangio. So I have a lot of confidence the Eagles are still going to be a great football team. This schedule offers no breaks. I will describe the Eagles' schedule as relentless. That's what it is. And when you don't have an opportunity to play back-to-back games at home, like they certainly did throughout last year, that's rough. That could certainly take its toll on a team. And I know this is all first-class travel, and every guy gets their own row, and it's not like you and me, you know cramming on a 3-seater or anything like that. This is tough. Or that's tough. But still, you don't have a long run where you just get cozy in your own surroundings. You're going to be on the go quite a bit. We talked a lot about last year, how you got to go through the end of the season without having to get on a plane. That doesn't happen this year. So again, I just feel very fortunate. I feel very blessed that the Philadelphia Eagles are a great football team. That's how I look at it. Let me know your takeaways in the comments. Because I looked at it and I said, yeah, if you're going to have one of the toughest strength of schedules out there, you better be a good football team. And just so happens the Eagles are a great football team. So I'll take that. Let me know what jumped out to you about this Eagles schedule. Philadelphia Phillies. Yesterday had so much potential. And you win game 1, 2-1, and Jesus Luzardo is just on point. 7 innings, 1 run, just 6 strikeouts. Anything close to a jam, he was really able to get out of, with the exception of that 7th inning. Phillies pick him up in the bottom of the 7th inning. Rafael Marchand doesn't know how to run the bases, but whatever, it kind of worked at one point. Bryce Harper comes up with the game-winning RBI hit. Love it. And then game 2. You jump out to a 5-1 lead. Aaron Nola struggled in the first inning to put away some guys. They're able to squeak out an RBI ground out in the first inning. The Cardinals are, and then the Phillies come right back, pick them up with 5 runs, just like that in the bottom of the first inning. You're feeling pretty good. All right, 5-1. All right, Nola's not going to give up 6 runs. I mean, that'd be ridiculous, right? He's got JT Realmuto catching. He's got the run support. There's no way Aaron Nola gives up 6 runs. And then he gave up 9 on 12 hits in 3 2/3. Now, I'll say, when Nootbaar homered off him in the 3rd inning, I went, I'm not going to panic. And Nootbaar made it 5-1. I'm not going to panic. No, I'm not going to panic until he gives up his 2nd home run. To hell with that. I started panicking when Donovan got the RBI double off him in the 3rd inning and made it 5-3. I started to go, oh boy. Oh boy. And then Contreras gets the RBI ground out, 5-3. Or should be 5-4. Burleson homers off him in the 3rd inning. He makes it a 6-5 Cardinals lead, just like that. Bang, bang, boom. You're down a run. All right, I hope you got that out of your system, Aaron Nola. Your 1 blow-up inning is the 3rd inning now, not the 4th or the 5th. Okay. All right, just hang in there. And honestly, when he came back out for the 4th inning, now Kyle Schwarber hit his 15th home run of the season to tie it at 6 in the bottom of the 3rd inning. So again, they pick up Nola and at least take him off the hook. I wasn't surprised that Rob Thompson allowed Aaron Nola to go out there again in the 4th inning. He gets an out, and then he gives up the 3rd home run of the night. He gives up his 3rd home run of the night. This one is to win. At that point, you're down 7-6. Nola doesn't have it. I'm not keeping Nola in the game at this point. Now, I will say between the 3rd and 4th inning, I would certainly have had somebody up throwing in the pen. I don't know if Rob Thompson did until much later. But Aaron Nola gets dinked and dunked with a couple of infield singles. He later loads the bases with 1 out, I believe it was. And Rob Thompson then goes to Tanner Banks. Let me go back to Nola. He sucked yesterday. There's no other way to say it. He was terrible. And he had the run support. He had JT Realmuto. His ERA is, I think, 5 or 6 runs better with JT than it is Rafael Marchand. So there's no excuses. I joked yesterday on the postcast and on social media. It's like, I guess he didn't have the 90-degree day with the cool breeze. I guess that's what really did it for Nola. Of course, I say that in jest. He was terrible. Bottom line yesterday. No excuses. But at some point there, Rob Thompson, you got to realize earlier than you did that he just doesn't have it. Now, I'm going to play 2 clips for you. One is from Aaron Nola on his day yesterday. The other is from Rob Thompson. And I don't understand where Rob Thompson's coming from in this. First, I'll let you hear from Aaron Nola. Here's Aaron Nola yesterday on his start, courtesy NBC Sports Philadelphia.
I mean, they didn't miss any balls over the plate tonight, and I didn't do my job well at all. The guys gave me good run support, hit the ball really well, and I didn't get it done.
What do you think kind of went wrong, I guess, other than the 2 strike hits? Like, anything that has you frustrated particularly?
Just a lot of hits, man. A lot of hits. More home runs, but, 2 strikes for sure. It's frustrating. I didn't put them away. My put away stuff wasn't good tonight, obviously. So, got to really work on that.
Got to really work on, getting guys out. Gotta do that. I don't know if you guys know this, saw this or not, but I really struggled in getting outs yesterday. He's accountable. He acknowledges his mistakes. The follow-up question right after that was, do you feel healthy? And he said, yeah, I feel fine. Like, it's funny, you always say you don't root for injury. Like, I would rather Aaron Nola just be like, something's been wrong with my elbow. And then the Phillies just shut him down for 2 weeks. Maybe comes out tonight. Yeah, my elbow's feeling a little weird. No, of course that's not going to happen. But as I was following it throughout the game yesterday, and I was listening, actually Ben Davis said in the post game that there was some, something's got to be wrong, something like that. He was alluding to something's wrong, and Ben knows Aaron Nola, and Ben knows the family a little bit there, from what I understand. And I thought, maybe something is wrong. No, Aaron Nola feels fine. I felt. I don't know if better is not the word. At least not crazy. Listening to Aaron Nola after the game, be like, okay, good. He acknowledges all this. There's no excuses there. All right. First step in solving a problem is acknowledging there is a problem. He had a problem yesterday. He acknowledged the problem yesterday. Hopefully he takes a step in the right direction. I'm not going to hold my breath. I've come to look at Aaron Nola actually a little bit more critically than I look at the Phillies lineup. Because one of our big problems with the Phillies lineup is how dramatically inconsistent they can be. Now, yesterday, don't get me wrong, the lineup was not the problem. But this Phillies lineup, we know, can go through games where you're scoring 7 runs, you're scoring 8 runs, you have a 5-run inning, you know what I mean? And all of a sudden, it's a different outcome, different game. But then you also are able to score just 2 runs against the Cardinals, like in game 1 of this series. The wild inconsistencies. That's Aaron Nola. Wild inconsistencies. On a day where your offense gets you 7 runs, you give up 9 on 12 hits, 3 home runs, and you give them just 3 2/3, and should have really only given them 3 1/3. I mean, the one extra third of an inning was a little much, to say the absolute least. And Rob Thompson just leaving him out there just goes beyond me. Now, here's Rob Thompson after the game, and this is when I heard this, I had to, because I'm typing. I'm getting my descriptions up for the postcast and all that stuff. And I'm like, hold on a second. I stop typing. I rewind on DVR. I listen to it again. I go, has he met Aaron Nola? Does he know who he is talking about? Here's Rob Thompson yesterday talking about maybe going out there to get Nola, or not letting him go out there in the 4th inning, or maybe getting him earlier in the 4th inning.
Not sending him back out for the 4th.
Well, with him, you always think that he's going to find it, and we're right in the game. He goes back out in the 4th, and you're trying to get him through those right-handers and 2 infield hits, and so you bring Banksy in on the lefty, and just puts a good at bat on him. And now they score 2 more and add on. So, yeah, you can look at that a lot of different ways, I think, but that was the thought behind it, was trying to get him through those right-handers.
First off, I love how he just glosses over the win home run in the 4th inning like that didn't happen. He goes right to there's a couple of infield singles. Yeah, what happened before that, Rob? What happened before that, old topper? What happened? And then I also love the idea that he says that Aaron Nola gets better, usually gets better as things go on. What? Are we talking about the same guy? Are there two Aaron Nolas that I'm unaware of? Because I know he's got a brother, but his name's not Aaron. So the guy that gets through the lineup the first time usually rather well, and then things start hitting the fan, usually the fourth or the fifth inning, that's the guy that gets better as the game goes on? No, Rob. That's not how it goes at all. I don't like. I listen to Aaron Nola and I go, accountability. I listen to Rob Thompson. I go, oh, excuses. Just like the time he told you Aaron Nola, well, you need some better weather, and then why is he pitching in the rain? You have Taijuan Walker in the fourth inning. If you want him to go to start an inning, fourth inning would have been perfect for him to start off. He already gave you a great outing out of the bullpen, 3 innings that he gave you in Tampa. He hasn't pitched since. You roll him out there and you see what he can do. That's probably what I would have done. Rob Thompson, I was fully expecting Aaron Nola to start that fourth inning, and that's exactly how it happened. The minute he gives up his third home run, he go, see ya. Now, I will say, you got to have somebody up in the pen in between the third and the fourth inning to get Aaron Nola out in the event that, this is only the beginning, which in this event, it was only the beginning. And Rob Thompson's like, he's going to play, he gets better out after this. What are we talking about here? Again, this is where I give credit. I'll give on the worst start of his career, I will give Aaron Nola for at least acknowledging that he was terrible. Meanwhile, I look over at Rob Thompson and he's like, I thought he was going to get out of it. What? Nobody that went to Citizens Bank Park yesterday for either game 1 or game 2, anybody thought that Aaron Nola was going to get out of that game unscathed after the third, and certainly didn't think he was going to get out of it after he gave up his third home run of the game. Big fan. I feel like I'm on crazy pills when listening to Rob Thompson after that game yesterday. And here's the other thing. Alec Boehm hit his second home run of the season. JT Realmuto hit a home run. Kyle Schwarber, I mentioned, his 15th home run of the season. Phillies had an opportunity to win their 6th straight series. Game 1, unfortunately, Kyle Schwarber did not get on base, so it's 47 straight games that he got on base, and that's where it ends. Home run yesterday makes it 1 in a row now. Just overall disappointing. And the fact that you've now dropped, 4 of 6 against the St. Louis Cardinals in 2 of those games. You scored no runs. Yeah, it's rough. Away from Nola, one of the other critiques, I think they got 1 extra run out of this, but still it's a horrible look. Brandon Marsh misses a fly ball to center field that led to another run in the 8th inning, I believe it was. Like he was under it. He made the play. He got there. He got to the spot. And he didn't make the play, but he got to the spot and then he missed it. Like it was right under it and he missed it. I don't get it. The diving play that he made in front of him, like, look, I actually give him credit for it. You're trailing big time in that game, and he's still trying to sell out and make plays for you. I give him credit for that, but I'm just not very high on Brandon Marsh. And I know he's been a lot better since he was shut down and came back, so good for him. But Rafael Marchand just continues to be a conundrum. He didn't catch last night. He played in the first game. He caught Jesus Luzardo. Hey, go figure. There's going to be games where pitchers just don't have it, and Nola's had too many of those, but yesterday he just totally didn't have it. He had nothing yesterday. But I want to see JT Realmuto continue to catch Aaron Nola because I still think that puts him in the best possible position to have success. But Rafael Marchand, I know if you look at the box score yesterday, you're like, 2 for 2, a run scored, good for him. He gets doubled off first base his first time at the plate. In his first at bat, he later gets doubled off first base after getting a hit. Good for him. Then I think it was his second at bat. The first at bat where he got doubled off. There was 2 bad base running mistakes in one. It was he didn't hustle out of the box, which either way, I don't think he reaches second base. Let me just be clear here. I think one of the reasons he didn't hustle is because even if it did drop is because he's not making it the second. Rafael Marchand is not JT Realmuto. He's not close to fleet of foot, even by a catcher standard. And then he gets doubled off first base on a ball that was clearly going to be caught. So then later in the game, he comes up in that 7th inning when the Phillies are getting that little 2-run rally there, and he stretches from first to second, not a single into a double. He took second base on a throw. They throw back to second base, and he was called out. They review it, and I'm telling you, Rafael Marchand's finger, his right pointer finger, is the difference between him getting, being safe at second base on that play or getting DFA'd. Not even safe or just out, but safe or out of the major leagues. Like DFA'd. He's out of options, so they have to DFA him if they let him go and then bring Garrett Stubbs up, I guess. But just barely he gets in there. The helmet flies off, and maybe it aided in him not getting tagged in time. I don't know. But he stretches that out. You get Weston Wilson, who actually got the pinch hit, 1-out single, I believe it was, in that 7th inning to get things going. Then Marchand steps up there. He puts runners at second and third with 1 out. And then they get the RBI ground out, or RBI infield single by Bryson Stott. They pulled it within. No, they tie the game at 1. And then they get the RBI bloop single to center field off the bat of Bryce Harper. With Bryson Stott, he's going on contact. There's 2 outs. He's at first base. When that ball is in the air still, he's rounding second base. So I could see why Dusty Watson decided to send him. But then it wasn't even a good throw when he was out by a mile. I don't know how Pages isn't ruled to be blocking the plate there. I know that Phillies challenged it, and the original call was upheld that Bryson Stott was out, and the plate wasn't being blocked. But it looked to me that he wasn't being taken into the base paths by the throw. It looked to me that Pages was just straddling the third base line, waiting for the throw. And that's what blocked the opportunity for Bryson Stott. I guess either way, Bryson Stott's got to go to a slide there. He would have to slide about 20 feet to get close to home plate, I guess. But I just, that play doesn't make any sense to me. But he was ruled out. Philly still won the game, whatever. But Rafael Marchand is just a head scratcher for me right now. And I know if you look at the box score, let's say you were at work yesterday, you didn't catch game 1. Oh, you had 2 hits, run score. That looks good. Yeah, it wasn't. It was a rather awkward 2 for 2 with a run scored yesterday for Rafael Marchand. The game winning run, he did score because he was ahead of Stott at that moment. But that was a bit of a wild one for the Phillies yesterday. Off today. You know what they have today? After a 9-run, 12-hit performance, Aaron Nola hosts his charity event today at Citizens Bank Park. So yesterday, as the common joke went in the chat yesterday, well, didn't he already have a charity event? Gave away plenty of hits and runs. Ain't that something? Phillies are going to be back at it for a three-game series over the weekend against the Pittsburgh Pirates. 6:45 Friday night, 6:05 Saturday night, and then 1:35 Sunday. So there you go. We're all having fun. So the Flyers made a head coaching hire. Rick Tocchet is taking over for, well, Brad Shaw, and who took over, obviously, for John Tortorella's interim and all that. This was the obvious and easy pick. There's a relationship there between Keith Jones and Rick Tocchet that has been on for decades. So this was not a surprise at all. I thought it was almost too easy to happen. Like the most obvious choice is usually I'm not going to say I think the right choice, but the most obvious choice was the right choice in this instance. A lot of people don't like it because he's a former Flyer. And I'm going to just reiterate how I feel about it. I don't care that he's a former Flyer. I think he's the right man for the job. He's got experience. He's been a coach of the year. He's been a 50-win coach. And I think he has the perfect mix of the guy that's got to be the good cop and the bad cop at times. And as I teased earlier, the one thing that he has here that he didn't have anywhere else, so he gets a little bit of a head start here, is the communication in any relationship is the key. There will be no breakdowns in communication like you had under John Tortorella or Elaine Vigneault that you'll have with Rick Tocchet. That communication is there between Keith Jones, between obviously the GM and Danny Briere and Rick Tocchet himself. I think he is the perfect man for the job here. Did he play the game at a wild level? He absolutely played the game at a wild level. Did he? The fact that he said he's got flyer blood in his veins and he's a true flyer. He's always saw himself as a flyer. I felt that it was a giant middle finger to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Thank you very much. But all in all, he's got experience. He's had success. At times, you're going to need that guy to have that John Tortorella vibe to him, where he's got to be a little bit of the harder voice of the room. But I also think the guy can coach. And when it comes to what the Flyers' plan is right now, see, I look at the end of the John Tortorella era and I go, okay, the plan with the Flyers had, obviously there was some missing pieces here between John Tortorella and the front office. There were some lines of communication that just never got transferred here. Never got completed. That ain't going to happen with Rick Tocchet. There's going to be too much open dialogue, not too much, but there's going to be plenty of open dialogue between the president of the organization, the GM, and the head coach. So that's one thing I'm not going to have to worry about. But there's enough of that hard-ass gene in him that if he needs to be that guy, he can be that guy. If he wants to coach up younger players, I have every bit of confidence that he can do that. I don't see this as just another retread. I don't see this as just going to get a flyer to get a flyer. If Keith Jones and Danny Briere, knowing Rick Tocchet as well as they do, if they did not think he was the right man for the job, they wouldn't jeopardize their own jobs for him. So I don't understand. I mean, I think it's a very surface thing to go, oh, I just don't want another flyer. Okay, well, so how many cups did Elaine Vigneault win? How many cups did Dave Haxtell win? Did John Tortorella turn everything around? No, they took a major step back. So what are we talking about here? And also, if you want to be confident in the Flyers' future, I mean, and you don't have confidence in Rick Tocchet, things are going to get easier here. With the amount of draft picks they have, the amount of capital they're going to have with the salary cap, in 2 years after this season, that's reason to be confident in the Flyers being able to turn it around in the not too distant future. I had a lot more questions when John Tortorella was hired than I did right now with Rick Tocchet being hired. The thing that I eventually thought was going to come around to bite the Flyers in the butt with John Tortorella came around to bite the Flyers in the butt with John Tortorella, which was you don't hire John Tortorella to be like the guy to nurture players along and to oversee a rebuild. You don't do that. Well, what about John Tortorella it makes you think the guy has patience? Now, he acknowledged that it was going to take time, and I give him credit. And I understand this is going to be a thing that we're going to build and retool and whatever. And then what ended up being the end of it? Him not being able to take it. Literally saying into microphones in front of cameras, I'm not interested in learning how to coach a team like this. What the? All right, see ya. Now, there's other things that transpired as well, as we later found out. But that didn't help anything. I don't think Rick Tocchet's going to have that. Excuse me. Rick Tocchet's not going to have that same type of mentality. I know a lot of people might look at it, aside from he's a former Flyer, too. Oh, he's just good friends with Keith Jones. Yeah, I don't think Jonesy is at all hiring Rick Tocchet because they're buddies. I don't think he'd risk this awesome job that he has right now for a buddy. Yeah, no, we'd love to have him in some capacity, man. Just not a good fit. Tocchet's a big boy. I think he understands. I think he gets it. And as far as, look, the Flyers fan base is, I mean, I know the word passionate always gets thrown around in Philadelphia sports. Flyers fan base is beyond passionate. Flyers fan base is just the best kind of crazy. And I don't think you could have made a hire that would have understood the fan base more so than Rick Tocchet. Is there a nostalgia feel to it? Yeah, sure. You want to see guys come back that played so well here. You want to see guys come back that you admired growing up, like I admired Rick Tocchet growing up. I got to give a shout out to my buddy Sean Casey, who I grew up with. Big Flyers fan, big Rick Tocchet fan. And I haven't heard from him. We haven't caught up in a little while. And I heard from him yesterday. He's just like, I'm going to have to break out the Rick Tocchet kids medium that I had in 6th grade. Sean's a smaller fella. And, we just talking hockey on the text chain, him and my buddy, our buddy Joe. And, it brought back a lot of the nostalgia of talking about Rick Tocchet as a player and, how versatile a player he was, how tough a player he was, the goal scorer, the fighter, anything you needed him to be, basically. But then you also think about taking that same mentality, applying it to today's athlete and whether or not he can do that. Well, 50-win season is pretty damn good. I think he can do that. And being back in an area that he knows extremely well, with a fan base he knows extremely well, with a franchise that I absolutely believe is about to turn it around. And the communication, aside from just the fan base, just the surroundings he has in the front office, I see this as a recipe for success. I don't care about the retread thing. Hey, look, I love Peter Laviolette. He wasn't of some Flyers retread. He did a great job. But since him, nope, it hasn't worked. So I don't mind dipping back into the Flyers gene pool to hopefully find somebody that can pull you out of it. The struggle, that is. So mark me down as somebody who loves this hire of Rick Tocchet. Let me tell you about the Game Time app. Want to go to the Game Time app? Want to go to the game, the concert, the comedy show? Game Time app has you covered. So download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, and get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. Game Time app has you covered, especially with Game Time picks. You know what that does? That feature filters out all the fluff so you get right down to it. The best seats at the best prices on the Game Time app. So download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. How about PHL Sports Station, Philadelphia Sports Station, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs? That's phlsportsnation.com. Let's get into the chat check and see how your wonderful people are doing on this fine Thursday morning. It's rainy again. I did just do some landscaping in the old yard there, as I told you guys. Put in 7 nice 6 to 7 foot abrevieties, emerald green abrevieties, the side of the house there, oh man, they're getting plenty of water right now. Oh baby, laid down some grass seed. Oh man, plenty of water. The vegetables are growing plentifully. But other than that, this weather sucks. I want to mow the lawn, man. Jeremy Von Skyver, Sean Kilrain, hello. Did we all enjoy the shellacking last night? Nola was ass. Topper took the night off from managing. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. William Stark, hello. Jason A, hello. Sean Kilrain, 4th toughest schedule in the NFL, the Eagles. I knew they were in the top echelon there. That sucks. Jason A, honestly, I never thought Nola was ever that good. Way too inconsistent. I mean, this is a guy who's been top 3 in the Cy Young voting. There used to always be similar to Ranger Suarez. There was always a stretch where he would go a month. At least 6 innings, 2 runs, 7 innings, 2 runs. And then it would kind of go back to normal of an ERA in the mid-3s. But it's been wildly inconsistent. I meant to double-check something with Nola, as a matter of fact. Because he always has these years that kind of alternate his... Again, it goes back to inconsistent. It goes back to your point, Jason A. The inconsistency of Nola. Yeah, okay. So, from 2020 to now, I'm going to start with 2020 and then get the present day. ERA in the 3s, ERA in the 4s. So, ERA mid-3s, mid-4s, mid-3s, mid-4s, mid-3s, ERA of 6.16. 6.16. Yeah, that sucks. Sean Kilrain, Aaron Nola is now 1-7 with a 6.16 ERA. 9 starts of the season, so no I'm sorry, I thought you were going somewhere else. No one has had more losses in Major League Baseball this season. His ERA fourth worst in majors. It's also the first person to lose 7 games before what, Memorial Day? Since like 1913 or something. This sucks. J-Stay, schedule's brutal. It is. Sean Cronin, Eagles are the first Super Bowl champion in NFL history to not play consecutive home games in the next season. That's where you talk about a lack of respect. Oh, they won the Super Bowl? Punish them. Like, I get you're going to draw the best opponents. You should draw the best opponents. You win the Super Bowl, I want to see you take on the best teams. That's, I mean, you get, what, 5 primetime games? 8 national games? Yeah, you should. That's what you should get. That part of the schedule I get. The disrespect for me, as you're pointing out here, Sean, is talking about not having consecutive home games even. What are we doing? William Stark, Nola so far is the weak link as far as the starters go. You know, here's the thought that crossed my mind yesterday. I'll finish your thought, William. I'm sorry. Sorry, but for my Family Guy brain. If he doesn't get more consistent by the time Painter arrives, Phillies should think about putting Nola in the bullpen. Ooh, that's a lot of money in the bullpen. That's not happening. William, I understand your thought, and I don't necessarily disagree with it, but I would very much doubt that the Phillies are going to the Phillies will find a way to trade either Taijuan Walker or Aaron Nola before they put both those guys in the pen at big money. Plus, let me just say this. Nola's not going to the pen. Let me just get that. But certainly not going to happen when you already have a high-priced bullpen arm in there. But I had this thought yesterday. Let's say the Phillies didn't sign Aaron Nola. Let's say the Phillies signed Zach Wheeler, got Jesus Luzardo. You have Christopher Sanchez. That's one hell of a 1-2-3 right out of the gate. You had Ranger Suarez hurt in spring training, but going into spring training, that would have been your 4th starter. And then your 5th starter is Taijuan Walker, which is obviously not something that I'm excited about either. But you're still going into the season with a 1-2-3 punch that you're going, oh, I feel pretty good about this. Once Jesus Luzardo proves he's healthy, which he's kind of done, you're feeling pretty damn good about this. So Aaron Nola, what are we doing with Aaron Nola now? Other than paying him, what was it, $171? My point is you didn't need to do it. You know that now. I would rather that money go to Jesus Luzardo. That's hindsight as far as the contract goes. But if you didn't sign Aaron Nola, you'd be better this year. And then, as I've been talking about, whenever you get Andrew Painter up at the major league level again, you feel like that's a nice big shot, fat shot in the arm to the Phillies season. That would move Taijuan Walker out of the starting rotation, assuming everyone's healthy. So what are we paying Nola for right now? What are the Phillies paying Aaron Nola for right now? Well, they're paying him to be a 5th starter because that's what he's giving you. He's actually giving you a middle reliever that's being asked to be a starter. That's what he's giving you right now. Greg Benson, thanks for the lucid thought on Pete Rose reinstatement the other morning. That was yesterday. Atlantic Monthly level stuff? What? Here's the best way. It came to me after the show about the best way to sum up the Pete Rose thing. After 2 decades of middle fingers being exchanged between Pete Rose and Major League Baseball got the last middle finger. That's what it did. That's what it did. Bunch of middle fingers. You ever see the viral video? I think it's New York City. I don't know. It looks like New York City to me. I don't know. And I say that because it looks like New York City, not because of what the people are doing. But it's 2 guys that are clearly not willing to punch each other, but all they do is more and more vigorously give each other the middle finger. That was Pete Rose in Major League Baseball, and Major League Baseball won. That's how it went. Sean Conran, I like the signing of Rick Tocchet. I'm right there with you. There you go. Farzi can't bet tomorrow. Farzi, Nola is looking for his fastball. Do you know where it is? No. What did he even top out at yesterday? 91? I mean, talk about put away stuff not being there. All right, 92 mile per hour fastball. 91, mostly 91 mile per hour fastball yesterday. Yeah. Sean Conran, one interesting note about the Eagles' regular season schedule 2025-2026 is that they never play back-to-back home games. Yep. Kelly Green, no back-to-back home games is crazy. It is absolutely bonkers. I mean, look at this again. Oh, damn it. Look at this again. You go through this schedule, and there is, like, again, you look at the names on the schedule, Chiefs, Rams, Vikings, see what they are with McCarthy, all that. Packers, Lions, Chargers, Commanders, Bills, Commanders again. Like, all the names on here, fine. That I want them to play the upper echelon teams in the NFL, especially in their own conference. Great. In their own division, obviously, but great. The idea that they don't have 2 games in a row at home is wild, and they have 2 games back to 2 separate times. They have back-to-back ROAD games. Bush League. Absolute Bush League by the NFL. Let's get back to it here. Wait, as usual, you guys get all the breaks, all the respect, and all the bleeping attention, and you're still bitching. I'm sorry, Commanders fan. Breaks? One of the toughest schedules in the NFL, and you're talking to us about breaks? You might not be able to identify with this, but the Eagles are a great football team. The Commanders are obviously not. They're working on it, though. Give you credit for that. It's adorable the way you guys are doing it. But this is what happens when you're a great football team. You get a tough schedule. And also, other teams around the NFL, other markets around the NFL actually want to watch your football team. I know this is tough for a Commanders fan to identify with, but this is our world. The one thing that I am pointing out that is, I still feel rather obvious, but needs to be pointed out, is that you should be rewarded in some way, shape, or form for being a great football team, other than primetime games. Like that doesn't reward your team. That rewards the networks. That rewards the NFL. That obviously rewards advertisers. That doesn't reward you, the football team, the great football team. Again, I know this is hard to identify with the Commanders people, but whatever. Is that still your name, your Commanders? Anyway, the Eagles not having at least back-to-back home games is a very odd thing. So odd, in fact, it's never happened to a Super Bowl champion. So I think everyone in the NFL could find something to bitch about in their own schedule. The one I'm bitching about is a little bit more unique than most, though. Enjoy Josh Harris, by the way. I know nothing could be worse than Snyder, though, but enjoy Josh Harris. Jason A, yeah, I love that we have more 1 o'clock games. Okay, there you go. Ooh, Frank Jr. 04. Phillies have a Rob Thompson problem, too. Fair. Tanner Banks and Orion Kirkering look like they could be 1930s era moonshine runners. Banks and Kirkering Refreshments Company. Like it. Frank Jr. 04, they have to get better. The NL is strong with the Dodgers and the Mets. Absolutely. Sean Kilrain. Nola serving up some serviceable meatballs. Did I tell you guys that I ended up making more meatballs for the Teacher Appreciation Day? So I made like 70 in Tennessee for my nephew's frat. And then I made probably maybe 70, 75 for Teacher Appreciation Day. I made like 28 lunches. I made some extras because that's what you do. I made a lot of meatballs in the last like 2 weeks. And I'm not complaining. I love it. I love it. I have a little fantasy where I have a food truck and I just drive around Philadelphia and I just make meatballs for people. Gordon OG, hey, buddy. Farzy chat check. I'll chin check you. Why are we getting violent, man? No back-to-back games. Commanders, Eagle, Giants series both occur over 3-week spans. Boy, oh boy. April, what's going on? April. Nice to see you. Nola has been consistently crap for a couple of years. That's why we so excited when he has a great game. I guess that's true too. Jason, I'm over Rob Thompson. So I was thinking about that last night as well, as I was being pretty pissed off. I was pretty pissed off at Rob Thompson also. 2 weeks ago, I talked about Rob Thompson managing for his job over the next month. Since then, they've won 5 out of 6 series, including yesterday's series loss. I think they're going to win the Pirates series. Phillies should have a nice little run in them here, honestly, because they don't really get tested until I think they have the Braves later this month. They have the Pirates, the Rockies, the Athletics, both those on the West Coast. Then they have the Braves, the 27th, 28th, and 29th. And then they face Milwaukee after that. Phillies should have a great run here. At least another nice run of series wins, at least. April, what are the odds of moving Nola to the bullpen since he genuinely has 1 to 2 good innings? I would say that's not happening. Oh, first time this week I got the show live. Welcome in, Wine Niners Wine. At least it was for Flyers Talk. There you go. Sorry, I should have shouted you out, man. Jason A was waiting for Farzetta to cue the Fangio grunt. Pin 9617. Morning, Farzi. Hard schedule. We'll split with the Commanders and the Cowboys. Also see us losing to Buffalo, the Rams, and Detroit. We'll finish 12-5. 12-5 is still pretty good. Phillies could use Jack Parkman. You're standing on the tracks and the train's coming through, butthead. What, you need a Jack Parkman reference by me? Come on. Hollywood Hogan. What you're seeing is a Phillies team struggle because of age. They have one of the oldest teams in baseball. Not ideal. Oh, Damon Fat. Thank you for bringing this up. When the first convo between Rick Tocchet and Matvey Mishkov is about no more trips to Dubai. So that I don't know all the details to that, but apparently a car that was being rented by Matvey Mishkov got into an accident. There's going to be a conversation, I'm sure. Yeah. He's on vacay in Dubai. Greg Lucas. Farzetta reminds me of an Archbishop Wood grad. Well, it's either me or my brother, I'm sure. But yes, I am an Archbishop Wood grad through and through. Hail the black, green, and gold of Archbishop Wood. Oh, before May 15th. Thank you, Jeremy. Since 1901, Aaron Nola, 7 losses. Wow. Minecraft Boy 9135. It's still there. I'm a little, the shot's a little soft today. I don't know why that is. That's weird. But yeah, the signed, yeah. And I didn't clean out Delilah's. I cleaned out the prize closet at WIP. My first day on the job. Oh, you're here? Good. Go clean out the prize closet. I thought I won something. Reds are having Pete Rose night in celebration with the giveaway. Good for them. Slasher. Okay, I'm open to defending somebody here. I think the Commanders fan is talking about some fans crying about Washington getting more primetime games than us, but us Eagles fans really don't care. That's true. I don't care. No thanks. I'll tell you what, selfishly looking at the schedule, I think it's November that's going to suck. Selfishly, not for the Eagles, but selfishly. Like it's there we go. There's a lot of okay, so Green Bay primetime, Detroit primetime, Dallas national game, Friday night. That's going to be my whole Friday is Eagles Bears. And then December 8th, you have another primetime game. Yeah, it's going to be a rough go of it. Say the absolute least. Not a lot of sleep. Gunner, me and Seth were already texting. I was just like, yeah, sleep is for cowards. And then Gunner, of course, says this coming from a man who has like 8 espresso a day. It's like 3 at the most. Yesterday it might have been 4 because of the doubleheader. Anyway. Mommy, good morning. Farzy, they hate Wise because they hate us because they ain't us. I think that's what it is. They're very good. April, I think that was the first job I ever had as an intern. First job they gave every intern. Yeah. Well, then I straightened it up because I think I was just after you. The mommy, I'm an old schooler and need those Sunday afternoon games. I love a nice Sunday 1 o'clock kickoff. You know what I mean? But hey, the Eagles are more than relevant. That's why there's so many national games, so many primetime games. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's pretty dope.
There you go. Hey, let's get to the morning rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars, SkyMotorcars.com. Flyers are going to have Rick Tocchet address the media today, it appears. So look forward to that press conference and hearing what Rick Tocchet has to say. Phillies off today, unless you count the charity event there for Aaron Nola. And they're back at it over the weekend. I'll be back with you guys for all 3 games. Phillies, Pirates, 3-game series over the weekend. Until then, have a great rest of your day. Friday, tomorrow we will have a Locked On Eagles squad show to go over the schedule as well. Talk to you guys then. Have a great day.